Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 522 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm your host, always. I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Man, let me tell you, just emerging from another work week, finally from after having a week off for vacation, and I got to admit, man, it's like I am definitely had a hard time adjusting, getting back into the groove of things during this past week. And it's just like one of those weeks where like there was like little things here and there that contributed to being like either a pain in the ass or kind of like being like some sort of like stupid in the grand scheme of things, though. But other than that, though, man, it's been like more like an exhausting set of week because on top of all the other type of news around the gaming landscape and stuff, and all the other crazy social media crap going on this past week too. Yeah, was kind of like a lull and everything else the work week, but at the same point, man, I'm actually pretty damn glad it's over with. So yeah, it's been pretty interesting to say the least, though. But how have you been, Tyler?
Doing all right. Recovering from a cold right now. Luckily, it's not COVID. I guess there was miscommunication. I was supposed to be off. My day off was supposed to be Wednesday. Not that ever really happens. And I was supposed to be off, but no one told me. And then I didn't find out till I was supposed to be there. And then like, well, you're here, so now I'm working. And then a couple people came into work sick. And then I got sick. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then I had to work. I got sick on my day off, and then I had to work Thursday. Work 2 13-hour days on Thursday and Friday. So now I'm here, but doing okay. Voice is not. It's better. I thought I thought the way Friday was sounding, like I don't feel awful. I feel decent. It's more just like congestion. Luckily, I sound worse than I feel, but
right.
I feel okay. But no, not COVID, thank God. Tested negative on that aspect. Sorry, so I got. It's mostly gone. I think now it's just like getting the voice back. But having today, didn't go anywhere. Just did all my grocery shopping, everything done Friday before I got home, and then just been sitting here and just got done watching the AEW pay-per-view and. Now we're here getting ready to record a podcast, so I'm happy to be doing this. But yeah, appreciate you, Gables, doing this with me a little late. Sorry for the late start. We Gables and I were gonna watch the AEW pay-per-view together, and then Bleacher Report figured out that people share their screen sometimes, and they blocked it from. So usually Gables will watch the pay-per-view with me, and I just share my screen with him on Skype. No, I don't. I don't do that. Legal. I don't do that. But yeah, they blocked that. So Gables had to wait for me while I watched it. But it was a pretty good show. But Gables, can I show you something?
Yeah, sure.
I want to show you my box.
Okay.
All right, so for audio listeners, I apologize, but you should go to youtube.com and look up DrunkNerds podcast, and you're gonna see what I'm about to show Gables here. I'm really excited about this. It's fucking huge. I have a huge box.
Okay. Well, yeah, that definitely is a huge box.
For audio listeners, this is my God of War collector's box. You should definitely check out the podcast. But dude, this it got delivered late Sunday night, and I went, my stuff gets delivered to my parents' house. I live a couple blocks away. So I went over and grabbed it, and I just saw them leave it at the front door. I'll just run out and grab it real fast. And I just hysterically started laughing when I saw it. Like the box was like fucking huge. I thought there was a fridge in there. So this is it. I mean, it's like the size of, it's like my torso here. It's like my torso. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So it's got like it's like the Jotner boxes for the Giants. It's like one of those stands. There's a little story there. Kind of tells a story of, Faye. It's got a little top thing here. I don't want to take it off, but like it's kind of cool. It's got a little compartment up here. Like I had some I gotta get close to the mic here. Came with like a little bag thing of like with some dice in it and stuff like that. It's Brock and Sindri's dice. I got those up on the shelf up here, and then you get these little mini twin statues of Frey and Freyr. You haven't met Freyr yet, but you will. And a steel bookcase with the Skull and Hati on it, and this bad boy right here.
Oh, yes, Thor's hammer.
Yeah, this thing is fucking like huge, dude. Like it's bigger than my head.
It looks like you're holding a goddamn sledgehammer.
Yeah, I mean, and it's got some weight. I mean, it's not like I couldn't like physically harm anybody, but if you smack somebody in the head, it'd fucking hurt. Like it wouldn't like kill them. But it's like, I mean, it's not like hollow. It's actually like it's compact in there. So, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. It was, and then I flipped it came with an extra code, and I flipped that for an Amazon gift card. So
there you go.
Took off $50, but yeah, I'm like, I was like, fuck, I bought this $200 collector set. I bought the game digitally for $80, and then I bought this $80 controller. So was that $360 then minus $50 for the gift card? So I'm at $310, not including tax on this game. So
yeah, that's about right.
But hey, it's my favorite game of all time. So yeah. But yeah,
you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, and I figured it's like I'd rather have this than not have it. Also, the box comes like there's a giant like sleeve, like a God of War sleeve that you can put it in, but I took it out of there. But it's over there in the corner somewhere. I just physically, I need to move because I don't have room for all this shit. I'm like I don't know what I'm gonna like. It's just way bigger than I thought, and I was just like, I don't really know. I didn't know what I was gonna do with this thing beforehand. Now I really don't know what I'm gonna do with this shit. But yeah. So yeah, pretty happy about that. Pretty cool. It seems like it's well worth the purchase. But yeah, as I was saying though, you should go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com. Go there, and I believe it's youtube.com/gengamingnet. Don't ask. But if you just go, you can do that. Don't ask why that's the URL. But you can actually just go to YouTube. When you're on there, just look up Drunk Nerds Podcast, Drunk-Nerds, whatever, you'll find us. But also Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that. If you don't want to do all that, if it's a little too much work for you, some button clicks. If you just look down in the description below, you will see the links to all of our podcasts, where they're at. Where like I said, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that fun jazz. So you'll find us on there. So check us out. We really would appreciate that. And if every time you download the audio version of the podcast, we're available at other places too, but I know Apple, Spotify are the two big ones. I think we're on Audible, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on them all. So we're on this one in India I've never heard of, but people download it there. So every time people download it, Gables and
hello to our fans in India.
Yeah. On our old what the fuck was it, feed or whatever, before Katy Perry destroyed it, we were like really popular in India. Like I'm not kidding, like it was like half of our downloads. We were doing like 4,000 to 5,000 downloads a month, which I know isn't a lot for most, but I was really happy with that. And I'm not kidding you, like 2,000 or more were from India, and I don't know why. Yeah, if you India people out there, please go. If you keep downloading, because every time you guys download the audio version of this, we have a sponsor. We get a little bit of money for that, so we really appreciate it. Gables and I would like to maybe every now and again get a free Starbucks coffee. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We can upgrade to a Trenta and not feel bad about it. Our heart will, but we won't. But anyways, like this is a video game podcast. Where we talk about video games primarily, and I show Gables my box. Gables, I gotta talk about it. I can't. This is just objectively hilarious to me.
What's up?
The Sonic creator, Yuji Naka, has been arrested.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Let me tell you something, man. The moment you sent me that little nugget, I literally wait, that's not a real article, isn't it? No, it was actually a real article.
Yeah, Yeah. I had to send it to Gables, and I was like, my first response was, because like the article I sent him was in Japanese, and I was trying to figure out why, and I was like, my first assumption was it was for Balan Wonderworld. Allegedly, that was indirectly, yes, it was because of Balan Wonderworld. But yeah, Yuji Naka, who's famous for, obviously, he's the co-creator of Sonic. But him and two other people, former executives. So earlier in the day on Thursday, two Square Enix executives were arrested in Tokyo as part of a suspected insider trading scheme. And I believe it's Tazuki Sasaki and Fumaki. Gables, you know that word? This one? Fumiyaki. Fumiyaki?
I'm going to say Fumiyaki, dude.
Fumiyaki Suzuki. Sorry about that. Were arrested for acquiring stock in Japanese developer Aiming shortly before it was announced that it was working on a new Dragon Quest game. So people know insider trading. That's a big thing that... what the fuck was her? The cooking lady, Martha Stewart. Martha
Stewart. Okay.
Yeah. She got arrested and went to jail for it. Where it's like you get inside information on the stock market that something big's about to happen, and either A, you buy stock in that when it's cheaper, right before it gets announced, and then the stock goes up, or something's about to go bad and you sell your stock before you lose a bunch of money. So that is called insider. So it's like if like Microsoft. Like if Phil Spencer bought a bunch of stock or sold a bunch of stock, I don't know how it works exactly, but say like he knew something bad was about to happen at Microsoft, and he sold a bunch of it right before we went public. Well, that would be insider trading. You can't do that. So
yeah.
Or vice versa, whether it's good or bad. So they did that. They did for a ton of money. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was quite a bit of money they did it for. Oh, here it is, $336,000 American. So in stock, they purchased an Aiming. They actually ended up selling theirs. I don't know. They didn't say what the profit was on it though. Basically Aiming is they were making a Dragon Quest like free to play mobile game. So that's what was happening there, and apparently Yuji Naka was a part of that. For people who don't like, the game is called Dragon Quest Tact, so it sounds like I'm assuming like a tactical game for mobile.
Right.
So Yuji Naka, apparently he bought about 10,000 shares before that, which was about $20,000, and he did not sell his. The first two guys, Sasaki and Suzuki, they did sell theirs. Like I said, I don't know what the profit was on it, but yeah. So he did not sell it, which is just kind of funny because then he didn't actually like earn any money, and he's arrested for it. So this is, I just wish it was like when we got Osama bin Laden, and do you know who broke the news on Osama bin Laden? The two people that broke the news, the first two people in the world that announced that we got him. The Rock on Twitter was the first one to say it. And then John Cena, who's told the live audience at a WWE pay-per-view.
I remember the pay-per-view moment, but I still can't believe it was The Rock and John Cena.
The Rock and John Cena, they broke the news, and then later main evented WrestleMania. For I believe the stip on that was the winner gets to take credit for it. Yeah, so it's just fucking hilarious. Obviously, this shit happens all the time, and it's just never like, it's one of those like rich people crime that we just don't do anything about, except for like Martha Stewart, because it's one of those things where it's like it's fun to make fun of just because it's like no one really got harmed in this, no one was hurt. I mean, companies were hurt, but fuck them, and this is just fucking funny. I love this. He deserves it, and I mean, obviously, yeah, he broke the law, he deserves it. But Balan Wonderworld is just one of the greatest sins you can possibly do to this world. I blame him for a lot of things. I think this led directly to COVID. I'm not gonna.
Christ, dude.
I think that has a lot to do with it. I blame him for a lot. I mean, Gables, what else can we blame him for? We already got COVID. Balan Wonderworld, Sonic. I mean, fuck him for that, right? Sega, Sonic 06, definitely. He's the one that decided that they should kiss the girl. Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, the first cut where he had teeth. That was Yuji
Oh
Naka's
yeah,
idea.
yeah,
Uh,
weird human feet and then teeth.
Sega Saturn, also him. Are you going to defend the Sega Saturn?
I haven't really played too much of the Sega Center, so I really don't have nothing.
Okay. Oh yeah, it was a bad. I had it. It was a bad system. All I had was a demo disc and that. What's that Dragoon game or whatever the fuck it was called? Justin's in the chat and he just said Richard Simmons. Are we blaming? Is that who you're blaming? You're blaming Richard Simmons on.
Wait. You had a fucking Dragon game for the goddamn Saturn, correct? What the fuck did you have? Panzer Dragoon or something?
I think Panzer Dragoon. I think that was it.
That's like one of the fucking most expensive goddamn games. How the hell did you get something like that as a kid?
I don't know, Gables. My parents were dumb with money. I don't know. We had it. I've told you the story about how we got rid of it, right?
Oh yeah. You've already told me the story about how you got rid of it and stuff. You've also told me the story of your first NES game, which I think was kind of hilarious in itself.
Yeah, the first game I ever played, Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't found a game better than that since. It's a good game. It's a great game. I guess Justin's blaming Richard Simmons for Yuji Naka, or we're blaming Yuji Naka for Richard Simmons. I don't know, vice versa. I'm blaming him for spandex. How about that?
Spandex.
I don't know. I don't really have a lot to add to this. I just love this story so much. It's just so fucking funny. And like he sued Square Enix because he got fired from them 6 months before Battle Wonderworld came out, and he blamed them for the issues, and they blamed him for the. I don't know. I think it's just one of those. And he sued the company. Yeah, and apparently he's had a long history. Justin said yes and yes, so he's blaming Yuji Naka for Richard Simmons and Richard Simmons for Yuji Naka. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like so he sued Square Enix, and I'm totally fucking lost right now. I don't know. I'm thinking about Richard Simmons now. Fuck it, we're moving on. I'm lost.
Oh, but yeah, Yuji Naka went to prison because of insider trading shit.
Yeah, I imagine he's just gonna pay a fine and get nothing will happen.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna sound like. It's gonna pertain to happening, but it's still a funny article that hey, the creator of Sonic went to prison.
Yeah, it's just not. I mean, honestly, it's like less exciting when you find out what he did. It's like, oh, okay, it's just insider trading. It's like, did he murder someone?
No, man. The first time when I thought I was like, oh my god, he was responsible for too many bad fanfics.
Oh my god, yes, fanfiction. Gable's the worst sin of them all. You're right. He is directly responsible. Nothing is worse than Sonic fanfic. It's the fucking worst. It is objectively the worst fanfic is Sonic.
Oh, some of them are so fucking creepy and hilarious. It's just so funny, dude. I mean, we've watched Grim videos and stuff like that where it's like they go on about like Sonic fanfics or something like that for when they're playing Sonic games.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
And it's creepy as shit, as you can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, look, he goes to prison and the best Sonic game in like 30 years comes out. Frontiers. So, maybe there's a coincidence there. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we should have done this maybe we should have put him in jail a long time ago. Could have saved it. Sega might still be making consoles if he went to jail in 1995.
That'd be pretty funny if that was the case.
Yeah. Those stupid memory cards you put in your Sega Dreamcast controller, his idea. Blaming him for that too. Is the German taco acting up? Oh, look at him.
Yeah, he's telling me to put up with that. Right. Oh, now you just want to go forward and try to dodge me, huh? Oh. Okay, just kidding.
He's like, you said bed? Never mind. Oh, you gotta walk away. Oh, uh-oh. It froze. Did we lose Gables? Uh-oh. Are we still live? We're live, pal. Oh, no. I think I lost Gables. This isn't good. I blame Yuji Naka for this. I made one too many joke about Yuji Naka, and Gables is dead. This is the last time we ever saw Gables alive. He got out of jail. He posted bail. He flew to Washington State, and he killed Gables. Oh, Gables is back. Gables? I was blaming Yuji Naka for your death. I thought he got you.
Oh my god. Yeah, you just see me swift into the bottom of the floor, like, what the fuck's he doing? Like, I'm just grabbing a dog.
All right, give me. I gotta fix OBS here. So, uh,
Okay.
is
Why
the
did
German
OBS
talker
really just
okay?
go hay?
What?
Did the OBS go haywire as soon as they just go out of the frame?
Skype just dropped. Like you just completely
What?
yeah, you completely froze.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, give me. Okay, this is what happens when the show is live, people. Doing it live. Oh Jesus Christ! Oh my God, it's going nuts. It's just zoomed in crazy on your face. Holy fuck! For audio listeners, I apologize for that. No, I don't. You should be watching the show. Fucking Christ! What is happening? I think I clicked on your face and it did some shit. There we go. Okay. I think we about got it here. I think we got it. All right, we're gonna go here. We're gonna go a little bit more over here. Boom. This is art, people. This is art. This is how the magic happens. Boom. Done. All right. Well, after that train wreck, let's move on. I blame you, Janaka, for this podcast. Yeah, well, let's talk about some NPDs.
All right, let's shall.
All right. Give me 2 seconds here. Get that going. Boom. All right. For like I said, for if you're watching us live on YouTube or watching us later, hit that like button, hit that follow, click that bell, all that fun jazz. But we're doing NPDs here. It's one of my favorite things. How about every month? So we're gonna start off here, Gables. We're gonna start off with the number 20. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Still hanging in there.
Okay.
Still hanging in there. Jumping all the way from 217th to 19th. Near Automata. It got that switch drop. So
that switchboard, yes.
Yep, got the switch bump. Number 18, Nintendo Switch Sports, jumping back in for 23rd. I did see some sales though last month for some Switch games, they're like $40 and stuff. Well, I guess this one's already for me. I don't know. I've seen a bunch of games on sale, so maybe that was that for. But we have a brand new here. We got a couple new games. PGA Tour 2K23 at number 17. I believe that's the first one back with 2K, so doing okay there. Another new game here, Dragon Ball The Breakers, number 16. That game was like doing terribly, isn't it? I thought that game was, I don't know.
Yeah, from what I've heard, the game is really awful, but at the same time, I have not seen hardly any type of gameplay for it. It pretty much came out and just died after the day it released.
Yeah, it's that Dead by Daylight ripoff game, so good for them. Number 15 here, jumping all the way from 54th, which I don't know how. It's a free to play. It was a early access game, but Grounded had that 1.0 release. Last month. So by the way, all of these numbers are based off of all the way up to October 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So that Saturday, that was the last Saturday of the month. So usually it goes a couple days into the next month. This is a rare case where it bumped up a couple days off. So number 14, their new game here, Star Ocean's Divine Force. I didn't even know what this game was, Gables. I've heard of the franchise. I just okay.
Right.
It's out. It's there. Minecraft, as always, number 13. Number 12, making a pretty big drop, but a lot of new games coming out in October. October's a busy month. Splatoon 3. Mm-hmm. Number 11, Mario Kart 8. Kind of surprising there. Mario Kart 8 is ahead of Splatoon 3. Number 10, Elden Ring. This is all US, by the way. So keep that in mind where Splatoon 3 is like selling like gangbusters in Japan. It's one of the greatest selling games of all time. I think like over 70% of the sales are in Japan. So, number 10 though, Elden Ring, still holding in that top 10, dropped from 9 to 10. Another really impressive thing here, Gables. Number 9, Bayonetta 3. Like that game came out October 28th, I believe. So only 2 days on the month for the month.
31, 3 days, I think.
No, because it only had this month. This one stopped on the 29th. Oh,
okay.
So.
2 days.
Only had 2 days. Yeah. So the next one will be weird because it's gonna, the next one will have like the whole thing. But that's just basically pre-orders right there. Is Bayonetta 3. So really impressive being number 9. Number 8 here we have NBA 2K23, dropping down from 3. Number 7, jumping all the way from 291st. Who would have thought putting your games on other consoles when it would sell? Persona fucking 5. It's finally
What a
everywhere.
surprise.
Yeah, so it's finally everywhere. It's on. It got a PS5 update. It got a. It's on Game Pass as well, but it's also on
Yep.
Xbox. And was it on PC before?
No, it was not on
Okay,
PC
I believe it
before.
was on PC, but also probably most importantly here, the Switch. So
Yep.
yeah, pretty crazy that jumped from 291st to number 7. Number 6, we have Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Which that's only 9 days on the market because it came out the 20th. Number 5, NHL 23. Number 4, Madden NFL 23. Number 3, FIFA 23. Number 2, those last 2 games, obviously Madden's been on since August and FIFA's been out since September. So then the top 2 here are brand new games. We have Gotham Knights, also came out, I believe, the 21st. Number 2, and then number 1, the Juggernaut. We have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It's the fastest selling, it's the best selling ever Call of Duty launch, I believe, in the first 3 days on the market. So this only includes the first 2 days, but the first 3 days on the market, I believe it sold like $800 million. In units sold, that, but that includes that collector edition stuff like that. So, yeah, pretty incredible here. Yeah, like, I mean, this I love these. I always find like cool things about every month because, sorry, sometimes you look at like the months where there's like nothing really new. It's just kind of like what kind of pops in randomly, but it's always kind of cool, and especially this time of year when we get a bunch of new games. In October was fucking wild. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new games on here. Pretty crazy month. I mean, Gotham Knights, obviously it's a DC game. It's the first DC video game we've had in 8 years, I think.
Roughly
7 years. I can't remember. I can't remember. Was it Dark? No, Dark Knight. No,
That's I think it was Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight. Thank you. God,
that was like back around 2013.
No, that was because it was a PS4 game. So
Okay. So
I think it was 2015, 2014 or 15, one of the two. But yeah. So what, 8 or 9, 7 or 8 years there. So
yeah,
pretty incredible. I mean, I know that game came out. It's kind of whatever, middling reviews. I think it's like it was 69 on OpenCritic. But I mean, it's cool to see. I mean, people seem really excited with Modern Warfare 2. Mario plus Rabbids didn't really do it for me so much. It's still a really good game. It's just didn't love some of the changes they made to it. But cool to see at number 6. That does include digital sales because it's a Ubisoft published game. So like me who bought it digitally, that would count for that. Persona 5, man, it's just it's so crazy. Like Atlas is just, man, I think they're just bad at business sometimes because it's like if you would have done this, you could have done this years ago without Game Pass, and who knows how much more money you could have made.
but then again, you think about the initial deals they probably had in place prior before with PlayStation in regards to not only just the Persona franchise, but some of the other stuff that Atlas had already had in that regards. Then all of a sudden it's like with Sega going through and it's like, you know what, let's try this and stuff for a Persona 4 on Steam and let's see what happens. And,
yeah, and it was one of it was one of the best selling games when it came out, and it's like that was years ago. And they did follow up with it. It was so weird to me. Yeah, I don't know. And then they still have 3 and 4 coming to Switch and Xbox here soon. So
absolutely,
get to the new consoles. Because Persona 3 is locked on the Vita, isn't it? Or is it 4? Four's on Vita, right?
4 was initially locked onto the PlayStation 2, and also Persona 4 Golden is like locked on the Vita. But it was up until like a couple of years ago when the Golden came on Steam. Yeah. But before then and stuff like that, Persona 4 Golden was just locked on Vita.
Yeah. So I mean, here soon. I believe in January, both those games will be coming out on everything. So that's pretty cool to see. I mean, I can't wait to see what those bumps are like. But yeah, I mean, Bayonetta being number 9, like I said, with 2 days sales, that's remarkable. I love that game a lot. So that's cool to see it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty. I mean, it's a pretty cool month here. I love seeing we have Nier getting bumped up there. 5 years later. I heard that Switch port's actually pretty decent. So
Same. I've heard the exact same thing with that, and also Persona 5 Royal port for Switch. They're supposed to
oh
be
yeah,
pretty solid.
yeah. I mean, I guess it helps. So with Nier Automata, it was like came out in 2017, and it
Hmm.
wasn't a graphical powerhouse, and I think it only ran at 30 frames per second then. So kind of helps that it's not like a huge. They're not having like really dumb it down to like make that thing work. So I guess that helps. So, but I mean, we've seen games that you think would run well on a Switch and come out. Like Alan Wake came out last month on Switch, and I mean that's a remaster of a 2008 game, and apparently it runs like dog shit. So, who would have thought 14 years later that game, the worst version of that game would come out, in 2022. So, yeah, I don't know. Pretty cool month though, Gables. I thought here, like, yeah, we're gonna. Like, I mean, Call of Duty only being with, like I said, 2 days on the market. That's pretty incredible. I believe overall though numbers, sales numbers were down about 5%, in the United States. But I mean that's kind of, or 7% here, which to be expected. We're looking at, we always knew that it was going to kind of come down, but I think that we're not. I don't think it's coming down as drastically as we thought we would see. Obviously with 2020 and then 2021, kind of like obviously 2020 the numbers went way up. 2021 they kind of held pat, and then 2022 obviously with just world's opened up, everything's pretty much back to normal. So that's gonna fall. But I mean, it's crazy to see it only went down 7%, where it was going up like 20-30% 2 years ago. So that means that people are that started playing games, or people that spent money on games more and more, are still like, they stuck around. They didn't just bounce off once the world opened back up. And then I believe overall, like hardware sales, or software, I said it right, hardware sales were down this time last year, but I think that's mostly just the fact that people can't go buy consoles. The Switch was the third best selling console for the month of October, which, I mean, we saw the Switch was like the number one best selling console for pretty much like a little over the first year of these new consoles. Now it's just a matter of like nobody can get the new one. So now we're starting to see it's becoming easier to get these new consoles. So no surprise, that once those the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles, especially the Series X, no surprise to see that those are bumping the Switch down. So we've seen like what they announced, that they dropped the estimation what they thought they were going to sell for the fiscal year for the Switch. So tells us that sorry, that we were that this was eventually gonna happen. That and obviously, we're getting to that point now. But Elden Ring is still currently the best selling game of the year so far. But I mean, like I said, that's with Call of Duty only having 2 days of sales. So I imagine that's gonna take over. But still, super impressive that that a non Call of Duty game wasn't the best selling game of pretty much the Call of Duty game wasn't on top for like a month, and since Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in 2018, and before that it was Grand Theft Auto 5 coming out. So a non Rockstar game doing that is very impressive. So just a pretty cool little month we got going here. I think it was really fun. Like I said, 8 brand new games. So I need to switch my screen back. Here we go. Boom. So yeah, pretty cool month here. But Gables, let me fix that here. Sorry. Let's there's one other thing I want to talk about here, actually. A little thing here. Dead Island 2 has been delayed from February 3rd to April 28th.
Okay.
So not a lot there, but they just announced randomly it's got delayed. But that's a delay. I don't feel like, doesn't make me too uncomfortable, because when usually we get that delay, that's like right, especially when it's like beginning of the year, and it's only like, if it gets delayed to like end of March, mid-March, those are the ones that concern me, because it's like or it's like when like Battlefield 2042 got delayed from like, I think it was like early October to like mid-November last year, where it's like, okay, you're like, this game is like, you're giving them like 6 more weeks. That's not really gonna get a lot done. You're just doing it like you're giving the, like, that's the longest you're willing to go because you want this game out for Christmas. And usually when you see a game get delayed, that's like a January, February game get delayed to like March. That usually means like this as long as you want that game out before fiscal year's over. Giving it till April 28th, that probably means that like, no, like, just needs a couple more months. It'll be good. So that makes me feel a little more comfortable about that game. And plus, it's been like, I think they announced that game on like 2014. So I mean, what 10 more weeks at that point? Just fucking delay it. Like just get your money back for that thing. Like don't make sure that game is good and done. Because you've been waiting long enough for that game to come out, and it's switched like 7 developers, and like 5 different people bought the company. But Gables, let's move on here. You want to go first on what we've been playing, or do you want me to go first?
Let's go. Have you go first. With
Okay. So I've only been playing one game. I've been playing. I just got a chance to kind of play some Pokemon Violet. I've still got. I mean, Somerville came out Tuesday, but I've had zero chance to play it. And Devil in Me, the Dark Pictures Anthology, the Supermassive guys. Their new game came out on Friday as well, but I don't even know what the response to that thing is actually. I haven't even looked at reviews. But the only thing I've got a chance to play is Pokemon Violet. I played about 6 hours. So Gables, do you have any questions? Because I know you haven't got a chance to play it yet. You haven't played it. I didn't see you playing it.
No, I haven't played it roughly yet. I'm supposed to be getting my copy of Scarlet tomorrow, apparently, from what Amazon's been telling me.
Okay.
But other than that, though, I haven't really. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some decent questions for you. It's like,
okay. Well, I mean, as I'm talking, you can always ask me too. So.
Okay. Just go ahead and just tell me about your experience so far.
Okay. I'm like 6 hours in. I played for like an hour or so last night, and then kind of did a couple of little runs today throughout the day. So I picked Fuecoco.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird because they didn't actually officially reveal starters, and there's a lot of like mystery Pokemon that just they haven't, like, usually we get everything before the game come out. We didn't. There was a trailer that came out, like a 5-minute trailer that came out like on Tuesday or something. I didn't get a chance to watch it. They didn't show the starter evolutions in there, did they?
No.
Okay. All right. I watched like the first 30 seconds, and that was all the time. Like I got sidetracked. So I looked up the starter evolutions, and I was like, all right, let's see who's like. I'm not really like sold on either one of these. I wasn't like I kind of liked all of them. But like no one like it wasn't like Charmander or something like that. It wasn't one that blew me away. So I looked up the evolutions, and I was like, ugh. I'm not liking any of these. So I just like, who's the coolest looking one, I guess, out of these? And Fuecoco was the one I saw. I'm like, okay. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it for you, Gables. I know you've been like radio silent on it, and I don't want to spoil it for other people too. Boy. But yeah, I picked Fuecoco, and I thought the opening went pretty well. It wasn't. It's a little it's a Pokemon game, so it's gonna handhold you a little bit. But I felt like if you just plow through like that opening part, basically like you meet your rival in this game, who's kind of like the person that kind of like shuffles you along. And then you meet like I haven't met the professor yet. I got Toro, I believe his name, because I got the Violet. That's the future one.
Right.
He's a hunk. He looks like he could be the lead singer of Maroon 5. He might be. But I met the professor, who Calville or something like that. Calville, I'm not really sure. But he definitely wants to fuck your mom. That's one thing I can assure you. But I got through like the whole you go to the class, you pick your starter, you get like you go to like you talk to them, you do your rival battle like you always do, and then like you get like there's a little section you can walk through before you get to like the big town where like the school and stuff is, and I can let you roam around. It's actually pretty decent size. Like I didn't roam the whole thing, but I roamed around for like just an hour, and it's not like, I mean, like if you do straight path it'd take you 2 minutes to get to like where you need to go, but I roamed the whole fucking thing, and just had a great fucking time. Just like I don't want to like spoil some, because some of the Pokemon in this thing they haven't actually officially revealed. Yeah, I double checked it because I'm like, all right, who here do I have that's been public? A couple of them. I had like a Wiglet in my group for a little bit. And then if you, I don't know like what there's a pre-order thing. But if you get, I don't know if like when the cutoff is, but if you get the game, once you like get to the first Pokemon Center, or you get to like the spot where you go online, You can at the Pokemon Center, there's a gift in there. You get the Pikachu that has like the flying Terra type thing.
Oh, I
So I
see.
got Pikachu for that, and I just roamed around, like leveled a bunch, and I didn't know how I'd feel about that Let's Go, the auto battle system, but I fucking love it. It is a game changer, dude. Like it's so easy to like you hit the X button, it shows your entire party. You go the one you want, you hit Y, and it'll automatically bump them to the top, and you hit the R button, and it'll just send them off, and they'll just start fucking battling people. And there's like Pokemon just roaming around, like you can see them walk around, kind of like Pokemon the Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, and kind of like Arceus. It does take some stuff from Arceus. And I was reading the IGN review from Rev Valentine did, and because I was kind of upset, initially that they didn't have the Arceus system where like you could just throw the Pokeball and just catch them immediately.
Right.
And I thought she made a really good point, actually. Like she ate my words. This one, she sold me on it. Is like Arceus was all about catching Pokemon in mass, the same type, the same Pokemon over and over again. That was part of the routine of that game, because to get your levels up for them. And this game is not about that. You just really only need one of the same type. So like it's not about catching Pokemon quickly. Which, great point. I would still like that they still had the battle system though, because it was so fucking fast. And like you can work around. We had like you can do like the powerful attack. You can do like where like now that if you don't knock them out, their Pokemon can do 2 attacks in a row, or you can do like the speed attack that's a little weaker, but you can still maybe you can do 2 attacks in a row. I wish they had that, but I really like do that. I just love doing this auto battle system. I'm just like I'll run around, and it's like cool. Like the Pokemon are kind of like almost like in like the best way it could possibly be, like almost like in their habitat. Where like I saw a Lechonk. I do have a Lechonk in my group because of course I do. I also have a Fido because of course I do. At first I thought it was a Yamper in the distance. I'm like, oh, fucking Yamper's here. And then it wasn't Yamper, it was Fido. But I have those in my group. And so I got Pikachu. And when I got him, he was like level 5. And all my other Pokemon at that point were like 9 or 10. And I found like a beach. And there's all these. Oh, I was talking about the natural habitat. And this kind of ties into that. Where I found a beach. There's a bunch of water type there. And I just did an auto battle thing, and there's just like 10 water types sitting around. And Pikachu just went and like started attacking him. There's like Wiglets there. And it's funny is like you can see Magikarp swimming in the ocean, and sometimes they'll just like swim on shore, and they'll get stuck and they'll start like hopping, like I found like a Lechonk. He was on his back like a pig, like just like in like some dirt, and then they'll just be a bunch of like what are they, like fletchings? The birds?
Fletchlings, yeah.
Fletchlings, yeah. And then what's Starly? Is that the other bird?
Yeah, Starly's another one, yeah.
Is that the first evolution, or is that like the later ones?
No, Starly is like it's just a base form.
Okay,
it's not
yeah.
like an evolution.
I couldn't remember if it was the base form or the evolution form, but yeah, you'll find those two in the early game, and like I just see like they'll just be like all like huddle up together. And like there'll be like a couple of them like sitting on the Lechonk who was just like sleeping. It's just like kind of cool, like see like them like in like a natural habitat type of way, and like just being weird. And like there's like some wind and rain effects, and when the wind gets there's a lot of wind coming, like a big gust of wind goes. The Hoppips will just fly away. They'll get blown away. Which is just really cool. So I've been liking that, and just like I like me like dude, I'm not kidding. Like in 3 minutes, my Pikachu went from like a 5 to like a level 8, just from auto battling. You don't get as much if you actually like stop and battle them. You'll get more experience points. But I think it's like about half if you just do auto battles. But it's like fuck, dude, they can do a battle in 10 seconds. And it's like it's way faster. Like they'll do 2 or 3 battles faster and do 1 battle. If you don't care about catching them, that's cool. And like you can see like in the bottom left, you'll see like their health bar. And like sometimes if like you like you roam to an area where like maybe it's a little you're in like the bad like it's too high of a level where you're supposed to be, and they get hit real good once, they'll just start running back to you, which is kind of adorable. I set my Fuecoco out, and he was like a level 15, and I found like a level like 20 Pokemon, and just fucking rocked him, and he's like, "Oh, Dad!" He just started running back, like almost like he tripped and fell. He's like, I'm fucking out of here. So I do like that. Like they won't just stick to a battle. If like once they start getting like low in health or they get rocked once, they just come back to you. And like you like if you go too like a little too far, sometimes they'll automatically zip back to you, and they'll go back to the Pokeball. So you can't just like let them out and then just walk away. You do gotta stay fairly close, but it's really cool. And like the only thing I wish that like they would be a little better about like finding like if the Pokemon's not like directly in front of them, they won't go get it sometimes. But like it seems like if, like they'll just you hit the R button, they'll go out straight forward. But if there's like they're like slightly to the left of you, and you hit the R button, they'll just keep going straight. But they're like, dude, I need you to go 3 inches to the left. Like that's like, but like if say like a guy like you can, but it's fine. You hit the R button real fast again, they'll zip back, go straight again. So like they'll fix it pretty quickly. But I do like that. You go into like so there's only like there's like no loading screens except or like there's like everything's open except for when you go into like the main town where the school is. And it's pretty big. It's pretty good size. The town is, but I do like it. There's not really a lot in there, and I wish that like the town itself. There's a lot of stores in there, but they're just the same store over and over again. Like, and you don't know what the stores are until you go in them. So
Right.
like you just there's no like sign. There's signs, but they're like they don't like it's just like made up wording. Like there's no wording there to like tell you what it is. So it's like this is like a sushi shop, or this is like this place sells ice cream, or I don't know, other types of like there's just randomly different food ones, and then like you can kind of like some of them you can tell like aren't food stores, but they're like I don't know what's in here. Like you kind of look, I'm like okay, so it's obviously like a clothing store, but like kind of sucks. So like there's a store for socks, there's a store for shoes, there's a store for glasses, for hair, stuff like that. And every time you leave the store, it doesn't like there's not a store. You don't go into the store. It just like you go through the door, and it just brings up like the menu basically. Excuse me. And every time you leave, the way the camera faces is random sometimes. So you might be like you might hit the forward to go away, you might hit the back to go away. So like you just like naturally hit the button to move, and then sometimes the camera's facing the wrong way, and then you go right back to the store. And I'll do like 4 or 5 times. I'm like fuck, and then I'm like don't do it, don't do that. Don't when I hit back, just let it go. Figure out where you're at, and then go. And then you immediately get out and you fucking instinctively just hit the button. I'm like, God damn it. So you get stuck in a loose time. Like, so like that's a little frustrating. It's like, just pick a fucking way the camera's facing so I can go that goddamn direction. But I mean, there's been a bunch of stuff out there, Gables. I'm sure you've seen some of the videos out there.
Of course.
This game is not done. And
No.
It's very frustrating. Like, it's so good. This is the game that we've wanted since 1996, Gables. This is the game. I hope that this doesn't stop them from like the next one, all these like the issues. I hope they understand like this is the issue. Like you've done it, but I mean so far, like I said, I'm 6 hours in. Just keep doing this, but like finish the game next time. Maybe next time we'll have better hardware so the game you could do more with it, because like it doesn't look great graphically. Like Arceus had a lot of issues, and I've talked a lot about. I don't want to do the whole spiel again about the Switch, but we know the issues. But like, it's never been like with the Arceus, it was never like I want to quit playing this game. It's so bad. And even this, it's not like I'm enjoying the game enough that I don't want to quit. But it's just like it's definitely like it's hindering my fun. Or like I had one. I saved the video. I'll have to post it or send it to you. Where I threw a Pokeball and the game just like I thought it froze on me. But it just like the frames were so slow, there were so few frames that it looked like it just like froze. Like it was like
right
single digit frames. Where I threw a Pokeball and caught a Pokemon. Like and it's like you can like it's like I've joked around like there's the Gyarados in Arceus where it was like stop motion, and there's a lot of that in here. Where, like you'll be seeing the people like as you're coming across. There's like a ton of pop in, and I can get around all that. And like you can see the people walking, and it's like stop motion walking, and then you can see it getting better and better as you get closer and closer. But I mean like that's everywhere. But it's just this game like, and I haven't hit some of the ones like I guess it's way worse. You play online with people, like that's where the majority of like a lot of the issues are coming from is playing online with people. But like,
Oh, okay.
even like, just like, it's kind of like when you click the button to get in and out of something, like the menu stuff like that. That's kind of slow. Um, and yeah, I mean, like, seeing it, like I've said, I'm only 6 hours in, but like, it's definitely like, like I said, like Arceus was kind of funny, like the way it was working, and like, like definitely like Kirby, it was kind of like, it's kind of annoying when like you put too much fire on the screen, like that's kind of dumb, but like it
Right,
didn't
right.
hinder the game for me in like in a negative, like a super negative way. Just like, okay, that was a little weird. And this is like, I talk about like like with recently with Mario plus Rabbids, like that was kind of frustrating just because it's like, this is a strategy game. Like, why is this struggling? And Bayonetta 3, where like you get to the kaiju battles, these are epic fucking moments, and they're running at like 20 fucking frames a second. Um, and now this, and like this isn't even the Switch issue. This is just like the game is not done issue. Like these bugs are
Yeah,
like, I guess
it's
people are having hard crashes. Go ahead though.
okay. So, not to go forth and interrupt you a little bit in regards to what you're saying about your playing of Pokemon Violet. I know I've heard a couple of different things in regards to the whole like maintenance, not just the whole maintenance and performance of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in general. I mean, granted, yes, a lot of that is like intertwined in a couple of different things. I mean, obviously, development stuff from Game Freak, and also some of it has to do with the hardware limitations of the Switch and
Mm.
stuff. Another thing also that plays in a role is like Game Freak has a specific amount of time to go forth and try to finish like games and stuff to tie into like a new
The anime,
show, like
yeah,
the new anime or the
yeah,
new merchandise stuff or this and that. The Pokemon Company is well known for putting out a generation and then having everything else scheduled and stuff like that when it's going to come out, and then they've got it down now to it's like a 3 year almost like span for each generation. Almost feels like we had Sword and Shield that was like back around, what was it
2019,
now, 2019 and stuff like that. Now it's 2022 when we have a new
yeah,
generation stuff that's tying into a different set and stuff. Of course, that doesn't excuse that there's definitely a lot of technical hiccups and a lot of various like weird and somewhat hilarious glitches that are occurring as a result of this game's launch. I feel like that some of it will be dealt with in regards to patches and stuff, but I've also heard of ways to alleviate some bit of it. Because apparently, what's ended up happening though is like some of these issues are tend to like to be occurring because of like leaking memory in some aspects. And
yeah,
so basically, what I mean about that is like the game's like file, like the whole memory stuff is like expanding to a certain extent the longer you play
yeah. It's
in
kind of like
regards to a
Skyrim on
certain session.
PS3. The more hours you put into it, the worse it ran.
Sort of like that, but the difference between that and this and stuff like that, back in Skyrim, the PS3, it was more or less how big your save file size
Yeah,
was, how many hours you put into it. But in terms of Scarlet and Violet, it's more like how long of a play session you're having in that particular moment. Like, say, if you're playing the game for like about an hour or something like that, and then you're coming across like other types of technical hiccups. Some people have been finding alternatives to where they just close the app and then just reopen it again and stuff like that, or
yeah,
just have like a save up for like a backup and back up your save data or some either through Nintendo Switch Online or whatsoever, and just have that specific moment tie in just in case something ends up happening. But yeah, you know what? Those are some alleviation stuff that have helped some gamers like
yeah,
go through and have their experience with Scarlet and Violet a little bit more. But at that same point, it's like, yeah, you know what? It definitely is a pain in the ass when like you see games with like technical issues. Say like we know a lot of infamous ones and stuff like that from Cyberpunk 2077,
mm.
that botched launch, and God, what was the other? I was thinking of like another game though that was had like
It's like usually this is
technical
kind of the
issues as
kind
well.
of stuff you'd see
Yeah,
like in a live service game,
sort of like
typically.
that. Yeah.
Like, yeah, like an Avengers or something like that. Justin just called you Dr. Gableson. By the way, I don't know what that's for, but you are now Dr. Gableson. Um, yeah, I mean,
Oh,
yeah, this is something you definitely see like in a like a yeah, like a live service game, like some free to play game that's just coming out and like, well, this is a, free to play game, whatever, we'll fix it later, kind of shit, or like and like, hey, this is like, it's Pokemon. This is literally the highest grossing IP in
yes,
history. They can, I
they
don't
can
think
afford to wait a little bit for the
they could
development
afford to wait,
cycles.
and they could also probably afford to take the hit, I guess, too. Where it's like,
That's true.
this isn't like a Cyberpunk level thing, and even like CD Projekt Red, like Cyberpunk is bigger this year than it was at launch. I mean, like
Well,
this
yeah.
after, especially after the
After
anime came out and everything. Um,
Exactly. The Edge Runners anime definitely played a role, but
yeah,
also their dedicated effort after subsequently like pissing off a lot of their
Yeah.
consumer base
Yeah.
with multiple updates and this and that.
We
Yeah.
are quick to be angry and quick to forgive.
Yes.
You know, if Michael Vick can come back and be beloved, I mean, we're good. If he literally strangle a puppy with his hands, and people will love him. So, I mean that literally he strangled a puppy with several. Yeah. To get back to Pokemon here, where I'm fighting animals. Not cool. This is not. Yeah. Anyways, I wonder if Michael Vick plays Pokemon. Never mind. Jesus Christ, Tyler. Why do I say things? This is what happens when I podcast on the clog between the brain and the mouth. Not great right now. Yeah, like I'm still getting past it. It's not like, I mean, it's definitely hindering. It's definitely frustrating. But it's like this game is so fucking good that like I want to keep getting past it. And then I will probably. And like I've beaten the first gym so far. I will say, they brought back the X and Y thing where like instead of like you go to like a gym and you fight, like every gym is specific to that gym leader. Like you go there, it's like a different, like the gym itself is different. Like it's totally built differently. Okay. Everyone has their own like kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. Like I've only met the one. This one's a baker. She's the bug type gym leader.
Okay.
But every gym looks exactly. It's just like a tall building. And instead of like going in and like, this one is a pool, or this one is a maze, stuff like that. And like you could fight other trainers on the way. This one is, they brought back the X and Y thing where you got to do like a task before you can face them. And this one, it is because it's like you're in like a town that's like, I can't, like it's kind of like a pun off of olive. You have to get an olive into the goal. It's like a giant, like kind of like a Rocket League thing where it's a giant olive, but it's basically a giant football, like a bouncy ball football, and you have to like get it through this course into the goal. There's nothing to hinder you from doing this. There's some gates. You just got to bounce it around it. But it's not fun, and it's actually just really more frustrating. Okay, it's shaped like a football, so it bounces kind of weird. It's
kind of like similar from your whole thing that you're kind of doing for this one, like a gym, like a course and stuff. Is it kind of similar to what you would have done, say, like in Sword and Shield and stuff? Because some of those little tasks and stuff like that. Well, X and Y, yeah. I mean, X and Y, they did have individuals. They did have some.
Okay.
But it depends upon the specific types of gym leaders. Like the first one, like the grass gym leader from what I'm referring to for Sword and Shield, to where there were like specific things that you were just like hurting a whole bunch of like.
Oh, I do remember that now.
Sheep.
Yeah. I guess it is kind of like that. It sucked because there wasn't like. I'm like, why am I doing this? It's like, what am I gaining from it? Like, they're like, why? Who thought this was a good idea? And it's like, I wish I would like recorded it or something, because it's like, it was just 90 seconds to me of just like, there's like no competition. It's just like, just trying to move. It's kind of like, remember that like the game where you have like the little ball and you're trying to like get through the maze to go to the hole.
Yes,
it's that, but way less fun and more frustrating. It's like someone played that game. In like one of the shrines in Breath of the Wild. It's like, what if we do that with an olive into a goal like Rocket League? And they did it, but like it's like, but they didn't get the guy that made that to make it kind of cool and fun. So I didn't like that. I don't know. Like if you want to do something different, fine. Let's make it like good. Put a point to it. Give me a benefit for doing this. The gym battle was fine. Like it was a bug type. I had my Fuecoco and destroyed him, so whatever. Which to be the case, I'm a little over level right now because I just fucked around so much. I'm not seeing a lot of trainers out in the wild. You can find, what's cool is like if you follow like the path, you'll find all the trainers there. There are not all of them, but there are some cool trainers off to the side that are usually a little more higher level, at least from what I found so far. And like not like over leveled, but for that area, they're a little higher level than the ones in the main path. So I found them, but like there's only like 4 or 5 like on the main path to like the first town. I did find a couple, like I said, and it's cool. Is like I did a couple raid battles actually.
Okay, how was that?
Really cool. So like talk about the technical issues of this game. Pretty much all the technical issues so far have only been in like the open world parts, but like when you go like cuts, like the little animated cutscenes or like raid battles, runs totally fine. Um, and I did that. I did 2 of them. I got a slowpoke, but he's like not way over leveled, but like at that point I was like my Pokemon were like 12, 13 range, and he was like 22. And now they're like my Pokemon are like high teens right now. I think my Pukoko was at 20. Um, and I battled him. We the 4 of us got together, beat him. I like the raid battles are fun. I like those actually. And then I did another one where I fought a Deerling. I don't know if that's a new
Okay.
Pokemon or not. If I spoiled that,
No,
I apologize.
no, it's not a new Pokemon. It's been around since
Oh,
like
has it?
Black and White, so
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay. I didn't know if I like, as I said, I'm like, I don't know if that's new or not. Uh, so I did that one, but he was a little lower leveled. But those are pretty fun. I like doing those. And you can see like the terror type Pokemon that are out in the world. You can like they stand out. You can see something shining off to the distance. But I will recommend don't go going in there blind. They don't just go in there like I'm gonna go straight for him. They will fuck you up. A lot of times they are higher level for that area. So like I did find one that was a Diglett terror type, and he was like a 17, but mine were like this is right for the gym battle I did, and my Pokemon were like 18, 19. So I
Oh,
was able to beat
okay.
him. So you actually got to knock out their entire life, and then that will destroy the Terror type, and then you can catch them or you can defeat them if you want to. Um, but like I did find a Scyther Terror type, and all the other Pokemon are, like there's always different Pokemon. There's like a Ghastly around it, a couple other ones like oh shit I haven't seen these in the area because it's cool. Like you look on the map, it'll show you all the Pokemon that are pretty common for that area, and I'm like oh like Scyther, there's a Ghastly. Um, there's a couple that like Slowpoke was in that area too. There's like I haven't seen these guys anywhere else, and I'm like, so I tried to find Scyther. Like this at this point they're like 13 or 14. He was 22. I'm like one hit KO my Fuecoco. I'm like oh I gotta get the fuck out of here. And then I saw the Ghastly. I'm like well I want the fucking Ghastly. So these were the ones just following the Terror type around, and so I threw my Pokemon not to be named at them. And he was like a level 19. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna run now. I'm like, I'm just gonna get the fuck out of here, because I am like, even though I'm in that area, there's a reason why these are special. So I'm like, I'll come back later. I don't know if he'll be there later, but I'm gonna come back later. So, and that's all I've done so far. I do like there are like the school itself. There are like classes you can take. They like ask you questions, and you can get there are like benefits to doing it, I guess. Um, like you can, I think if like you as you like progress in class, like a math classes or art class, they ask, but they're basically always ask you like questions, um, like and pretty like simple so far. It's like when a Pokemon, if you do attack with a Pokemon that it's weak against, what does that do to that attack? Oh, it doubles it, or vice versa, it cuts it in half. They're pretty self-explanatory answers. I imagine they get harder, but there are like you get items for doing it as you progress, and there's items all throughout the world too, and that's like kind of like a really cool, like it's almost like breadcrumbs to like kind of like keep you going. Like you could find like TMs everywhere. I find fucking like great balls already. I'm finding like I have a bunch of like revives and like found a couple rare candies, stuff like that throughout the world. So like it really pays to explore, obviously. And then like I've unlocked the 3 pass for the game. I'm gonna go do one of the Team Star crew fights. I want to do that, and they do kind of point you in the direction you want to go first. So like, hey, this is where we recommend you start. But I mean, once you're out there, you don't have to. Like the whole world's open at this point. You can go anywhere. But obviously, you go. It's like I remember playing the OG Final Fantasy for the first time, like on Game Boy on my DS a long time ago, and I went like one way, and I was like a level 8, and I found like a level like 60 something enemy. I'm like, okay, I'm not supposed to be here. So I mean, that is a possibility. But yeah. So far, 6 hours in, early impressions, really liking it. A lot of problems. But I mean, as long as it's like, to me, as long as it's not game breaking and it's not like completely destroying the game for me, I'll be able to get past it. But that's because I'm a fan of Pokemon, and this is kind of the game I've been dreaming of for 26 years now. So, but yeah, I'm excited for you to play it, Gables. But
All right.
Tell me about God of War, buddy.
All right. So to continue on from talking from last week, I did end up completing God of War 2018. It definitely was a lot longer than I was thinking that I was going to put a time sink into. I mean, granted, I came off of the whole 24 hours in regards to playing Extra Life and stuff. Obviously reached my goal and everything else like that, though, but I play predominantly just that game for the whole duration of the stuff. Great game. Obviously, there was a lot of like stuff that went into like some of it, a lot of great moments, a lot of great boss battles, a lot of great like character development stuff. Story, excellent. But I'll tell you what though, it got to a point and stuff like during the last weekend or something like that. I think it was like last Sunday. I actually went through and finished up the rest of God of War 2018. Give or take, there were some little things inside the queue I did not go forth and investigate in that regards, but I pretty much was just going for the platinum at this point. So I ended up completing everything in regards to that. I am officially got the platinum for God of War 2018. I think throughout all the time I've played this and stuff like that, the final couple hours and stuff where I was just like, okay, I need to find this chest or I need to find this little thing right here and stuff like that. Find all of the find all the signs and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the Jotner signs and stuff, which I did, and go through all these little hints and all these little like stories and stuff from past like Norse mythology creatures and stuff like that, and like other like giants and all this other stuff. Obviously, a lot of them are paying reference in regards to the next game in line, the sequel, God of War Ragnarok and stuff. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time with God of War 2018. It definitely was a fantastic experience and stuff. And yeah, it's one of those games and stuff where if I ever want to do another replay, go through it and stuff like that, I don't have to necessarily aim for all of the stuff. But man, I'll tell you what, it was definitely a fun time going through and investing into upgrading all the weapons and everything else to max, like the Leviathan axe,
Oh yeah.
the Blades of Chaos. Both of them I upgraded completely and stuff. I actually got the best armor stuff in the entire game and
Ooh.
this that. Yeah, I did get the best armor inside the chest armor, the wrist armor, the waist armor, all this other stuff. And Kratos and he was already like let's see, he was already at like level 6 in regards to the armor and stuff like that. I pretty much ended it to where he was like halfway to level 7.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Halfway through, yeah, I was halfway through level 7, almost to level 8 and stuff. And the last initial like difficult stuff I had to go through was obviously the harpy stuff. I think I touched upon it though, but yeah, that the Valkyrie, actually not, yeah, the Valkyrie Queen.
I like how you
Classic
call them harpies because whenever I forget their names, I always call them the Harpy Ladies from Yu-Gi-Oh. That's all I ever think of.
Well,
For
honestly,
4.5 years.
it was just something just rolled off my tongue and stuff because they definitely kind of remind me of harpies in some aspects. But no, these are Valkyries and stuff, like these guards and stuff for the underworld.
Just glad it's not me.
But yeah, the whole freaking battle with the Valkyrie Queen and stuff like that, and having all these various attacks from most of the previous ones that tried to do all this stuff, and taking like about 20 attempts, even though I just set it on the story difficulty and it still was hard as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But going from that and then playing a bit of God of War Ragnarok, I didn't put as much time as I wanted to, though, for God of War Ragnarok this past week. Only because going back to work, fucking exhausted after going like home and stuff. I was pretty much put like maybe an hour and a half at most. But I've gotten through the introductory stuff. I definitely am still loving the little bit of improvements and stuff for some of the combat. Definitely love like that whole initial opening like freaking scene and that whole stuff with the story stuff at the beginning and like epic battles at the beginning and stuff. Just sets the tone for something that's going to be incredibly awesome just to go all the way through, you know. They pretty much started it off with a bang, the opening scene.
Yeah.
And then like freaking it escalated itself with like another epic battle like not too long after that, after the whole introductory sort of stuff, you know, with like Atreus and all this other stuff. But I definitely am liking the like Odin and Thor so far, because both of them are just, you can tell that like you can obviously tell there's part of the reason why these two are more or less like considered like villains and stuff like that, and like how they portray themselves. And here's the thing, though, in terms of like some of the best villains in like literature, TV shows, like cartoons or whatsoever, the best villains are the ones that don't view themselves as villains. They view themselves as heroes in this stuff. But what's kind of hilarious though, it's like, yeah, it's just that whole aspect of like the introductory stuff for like with Thor and like with Odin, all the other shit. You know, it's like,
Sorry. Justin popped in with a quote that maybe only I will get.
uh-huh.
The octopus is really scary, which is a quote from the Goonies. Oh man, that got me.
Oh my gosh. But game looks fucking fantastic,
Oh
dude.
yeah,
I
it does.
have it set on performance mode. It is just running lickety split, man. It's just really smooth. Just absolutely just crazy stuff. I'm obviously using like the Skull and Hati controller that I initially got through as well. I mean, that works fantastic. No issues with that whatsoever. Oh boy. What else can I say about this game? I mean, I am kind of interested in seeing like more of these different type of enemy types throughout
Yes.
this game
Yeah.
because it's like they actually introduce like other types of like humans and stuff like that to where it's like inside the last game, you know, there's hardly any type of like other humans that aren't dead.
Yeah.
In the game in
Yeah.
the God of War 2018. So it's interesting seeing like more of like humans interact and like present themselves inside of this game in general. But I think it's pretty cool how it sets its tone. Ragnarok, when you first boot up the game, and all of a sudden you just see this whole snowed portion of where that initial navigation stuff for the River of Nine,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
is stuff, and like you know the whole forever winter or like Ragnarok style winter or something like
Winter.
that. Yeah, the Timber Winter and
Yeah.
stuff. But other than that, though, man, I'm just very excited to see what else I go forth next. Obviously, I'm going to play more of God of War Ragnarok. I know I got Pokemon Scarlet coming in that regards fairly soon. But you know what's kind of hilarious, though? During the times like that this week and stuff, there was something that I had been wanting to try for a while.
Marvel Snap.
And it came... No, it actually came from a specific article that I had happened upon while like scrolling through my break.
On
What's kind
Playboy.
of hilarious?
Were you scrolling the articles in Playboy?
No, not
Okay,
that.
nice.
But what was hilarious is there's this one Mario Maker course, right? That this one dude spent a good total of like 3 or 4 years, I think it is, trying to create like his own initial like Super Mario Brothers 4 or Super Mario Brothers 5 sort of like thing. I'm going forth and trying to find the article right at this moment though. But basically what it is like this man, I think his name is Mike, and quintessentially, I'm getting up the IGN article here right now. He spent 7 years, actually. He spent 7 years creating an entirely new, like, 2D Mario game inside of Mario Maker 2.
Game hasn't been out that long.
I know. He started it on the original Mario Maker.
Yeah, damn.
Back on the Wii U. And he went through and transferred a lot of the assets from what he was creating on Mario Maker to Mario Maker 2 on Switch. The guy is, his name is Metroid Mike 64.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that want to try out this initial thing that he's created and stuff like that, he initially titles it like Super Mario Bros. 5, right? And his little code for like finding his little thing is like 0G9XN4FNF. For those that want to try it out, let me tell you something. I've tried out the first couple worlds. It freaking feels like a lost Super Mario Brothers game. It absolutely does. It does exactly like it is, like he is going through and putting into the effort into it being. It does have a tendency to switch between different type of styles of like Mario games. Like for one level, it'll be like Mario 3. Another level will be like Super Mario World. And then you'll have these kind of crazy like gimmick intermixed and stuff where you'll pick up the mushroom and stuff from Super Mario Brothers 2, and then all of a sudden your sprite changes to that, and now you can just pick up Goombas and try to go through different course, like different types of puzzles inside of the course you're in or something like that. Or one of my favorites and stuff is like there's this like one retro like mushroom that you pick up and you transform into the Mario from like Super Mario Land, you know, and it's like you're just like you can fire these fireballs and they'll bounce off of specific stuff to try to solve different puzzles. And then once I actually experienced that, I'm like, holy crap! Like Nintendo actually went to the detail with those actual different Mario types and stuff and implemented them in their own gimmicks and stuff inside of the courses themselves. But I've gone through about 3 or 4 worlds so far. And each at the end of them, as you would expect, there's a gunship and there's like a Koopaling or something like that that's at the end of it. I have to admit though, it definitely was a ton of fun to play. It definitely want to go forth and try to finish up the rest of that stuff, but Metro Mike 64 definitely has put out a fantastic like super world theme, like initial game and stuff like that for Mario Maker 2. And so for those who have Super Mario Maker 2, like no Mario Maker 2 in general, try that out, you know. But other than that though, that's pretty much what I've been playing.
All right. Well, very cool then, Gables. I think that's gonna wrap it up for us. Thank you guys so much for listening. Like I said at the top of the show, please like, follow, subscribe, click the bell. We're doing this live now on YouTube. So like I said, look, you look down the descriptions down below. You'll see the time codes, see all that for us, but you also see YouTube links, Twitter, Facebook, Apple, Spotify. Sorry, my brain is still fucked up. But yeah, please like, follow, subscribe, go to all those places. Like I said, if you go listen to the audio version, you don't have to listen to it. If you listen to us on YouTube, we really appreciate it. But whatever you listen to the podcast on, please just go give us a download it. You can immediately delete it. That's fine. As long as you listen somewhere. And then, you do that and we get a little bit of money for it every time you download or listen to the audio version. We really would appreciate it if you did that for us. But until next time, I was your host, Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. Until next time, man, play some fun games. But most importantly of all that, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
And I totally forgot, Gables. I totally forgot. We will be doing right after this. This won't be. We're not going to record it live, but we'll be recording a podcast with our game awards predictions. That'll be out on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. Wednesday morning that'll go up. So when you guys are on your little Thanksgiving break, you'll have those two. We're gonna go through each of the nominees and all that for all the awards. Not all the awards. Well, not some of them. Most of them. And we'll give our predictions and all that. So please keep an eye out for that one. That'll be on YouTube and all the podcasts as well. So, but yeah, too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.